In this video, we explore the heartbreaking and shocking case of Eliza Fletcher, a woman whose ordinary morning run ended in tragedy. America on September 2, 2022. Eliza Fletcher, a kindergarten teacher and mother of two, left her home in Memphis at 3 a.m. to go for a run. After Eliza didn't come home, the police were told about her missing. They started an investigation that made a lot of people angry.
Eliza Fletcher.
Eliza Fletcher.
Eliza Fletcher.
Eliza Fletcher.
Of Eliza Fletcher.
Eliza Fletcher.
Of Memphis mother and teacher Eliza Fletcher.
A few days ago, the case was over. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments below. It's amazing to see how true crime connects people from all over. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's get back to the case. Her birthday is November 9th, 1987, and she was born in Memphis, Tennessee. Eliza played football for the University of Memphis after graduating from the Hutchinson School in 2006. She then finished her college studies at Baylor University. She went to Belmont University and got her master's degree in teaching. Eliza worked hard and had a lot of energy for her students at Promise Academy, and then for her junior kindergarten students at St. Mary's Episcopal School. Everything Eliza did, she did with all her heart. She loved and cared for her kids. She wasn't afraid to be open because she really believed in the value of personal growth. In fact, she welcomed it. Eliza was naturally athletic, and her love of sports led her to play on teams as a child, compete in college, and do very well in races. She loved going for morning runs with her friends as an adult, and she used her competitive nature to be a big part of everything she did. Eliza was a very good runner. She finished the St. Jude Marathon in Memphis in 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 9 seconds, which got her into the Boston Marathon, which is the most famous marathon race in the world. The roles of wife and mother were the ones Eliza loved the most. The church where she met her husband, Richard James Fletcher, was where they first met. They got married on March 8, 2014. They had 2 boys together. Friday, September 2, 2022. Eliza began her day with a morning run, as she did many other days. Around 4 a.m., she left the house. Eliza's family was worried when she didn't come home from her run at the time they thought she would. Richard, her husband, informed the police that she was missing at 7:45 a.m. because she had not come home and was not answering the phone or texts. The police started their investigation right away. First, the investigators talked to everyone in Eliza's family. They needed to put together a timeline of events that led up to her missing and make sure that no one's story was contradictory. The police quickly threw out the idea that Eliza's husband or any other family member was involved in her disappearance. Once the police knew the route Eliza was taking, they followed her again and started gathering surveillance video. They showed a still picture of Eliza and said she was 5 feet 6 inches tall, 137 pounds, had blonde hair, and green eyes. A pink jogging top and purple-blue running shorts with her hair pulled back were the last things anyone saw her wearing. On the same day, investigators found that Eliza had been taken near the University of Memphis after looking at other surveillance film. There were never any safety issues for her when she jogged in the area, but this time, cops say, a man took Eliza, forced her into his car, and drove off. People saw the suspect driving west on Central Avenue in a dark SUV. Her cell phone was broken, and both it and a water bottle were found near where she was taken. The police put out a picture of the SUV and asked anyone with knowledge that could help their investigation to get in touch. Later, the police gave out more information about the theft. This is what the police report says. A black GMC Terrain drove by the scene of the crime and then waited for the victim to run by. The paper says that a man got out of the car, ran up to Fletcher, and pushed her into the passenger seat. There looked like there was a fight going on during this kidnapping. This is where the Champion slide shoes were found. After that, the victim was inside the car for about 4 minutes while it sat in the parking lot. The shoes that were found at the crime scene were sent to a lab to be checked for DNA from the killer. Eliza's family put out a statement the day after she was taken, September 3rd, offering a $50,000 prize for information that would help find her and bring her home.
And I am the uncle of Liza Fletcher. On behalf of Liza's family, her husband Richie, her children, her mom Adele, her father Beasley, her brother Gil, and all the members of her family, we want to make a brief statement. We want to start by thanking everyone for their prayers and outpouring of support. Liza has touched the hearts of many people, and it shows. We want to thank the Memphis Police Department, Shelby County Sheriff Department, TBI, FBI, and all of the other law enforcement agencies who are working tirelessly to find Liza. The family has met with police, and we have shared with them all the information we know. More than anything, we want to see Liza returned home safely. The family has offered a reward for any information that leads to her safe return. We believe someone knows what happened and can help. If you have any information on this crime or Liza's location, call the police.
At the same time, cops were looking for the dark SUV. Their search led them to more surveillance tape, some of which was later made public. The police statement says that this video shows the person they think took Eliza Fletcher cleaning the inside of his car. From the statement, it's clear that Eliza wasn't in the kidnapper's car at this point, but rather somewhere else. The trash can where the suspect dumped the cleaner he used to clean the inside of the car was taken by the police. This could be an important piece of evidence. Memphis police said the same day, September 3rd, that they had found a car of interest and were questioning the driver. A piece of DNA was taken from the shoes that the person who kidnapped Eliza Fletcher lost. Forensics put the DNA profile into a database and got a name. The person who took Eliza was 38-year-old Cleotha Abston. He had a bad history and got out of jail about 2 years ago. Investigators are said to have found that Abston's cell phone was close to where Fletcher was pushed into the car by cell phone records. After admitting to kidnapping a man named Keir Durand on May 26, 2000, Abston was given a sentence of 24 years in jail. At the time, Abston was a teenager. According to court papers, Abston held Durand hostage with a gun and pushed him into the trunk of a car. After that, he made Durand take money out of an ATM. When Durand caught the eye of a Memphis Housing Authority guard while taking out cash, he was able to get away. Durand wrote in a victim impact statement that he felt very lucky to be able to get away from Cleotha Abston. He and his co-defendant took me from the trunk of my car, where they had been sleeping for hours, and made me drive to the MAPCO station. I was supposed to get cash for Cleotha Abston with my ATM card. It was very lucky that a Memphis Housing Authority guard in uniform and armed happened to walk into the MAPCO station, he wrote in the statement. It is quite likely that I would have been killed had I not escaped. Durand, a criminal defense lawyer who died in 2013, said he thought Abston had no guilt at all. The court papers also show that Abston had a long history of crimes going back to 1995. Some of the charges were theft, aggravated assault, fleeing arrest, and in 1998, rape. In November 2020, Abston was let out of the Tennessee Department of Correction. Even though the thief was caught, no one knew where Eliza Fletcher was because Abston wouldn't say anything. Sadly, evidence found in his car showed that Eliza was no longer alive. Even though Abston cleaned the inside of his SUV very well, Eliza's blood was still found by detectives. Abston was charged with dragging evidence around and stealing a child. He was also charged with identity theft, property theft, and credit card fraud, which had nothing to do with each other. When the person was being arraigned, the police said that the judge set bail at $500,000. Abston told the judge that he didn't have enough money for a lawyer, so the court hired a public defender for him. At the same time, the cops were trying hard to find Eliza. She was taken from her in the early hours of Friday, September 2nd. On Monday, September 5th, 2022, the government held a news conference to confirm what people who were worried about Eliza Fletcher's safety thought would happen.
Today is a very sad day in the city of Memphis. First, I'd like to express our sincere condolences to the family, friends, and numerous others who have been impacted by the tragic and heinous kidnapping of Eliza Fletcher. Yesterday evening, September 5th, at approximately 5:07 p.m., the Memphis Police Department and other law enforcement partners discovered the remains of a human body, in the rear of a vacant duplex apartment at the 1600 block of Victor Street. At that time, it was believed the unidentified body could possibly be the remains of kidnapping victim Eliza Fletcher. Further forensic investigation by the MPD traffic unit positively identified the body was, in fact, Eliza Fletcher. This finding marked the culmination of a 4-day intensive investigation incorporating a robust search and rescue effort and the timely arrest of suspect Cleotha Abston on September 3rd, the day following the kidnapping.
Someone found Eliza's body in the grass next to an empty house on Victor Street. There were tire tracks in the driveway that looked like they belonged to Abston's car. This is how this spot looks on Google Maps. There was, however, tall grass all around this empty house at the time of the crime, according to the news.
Now, people we talk to believe these neglected properties can draw crime. Take a look here. You can see just how high this grass is in some parts right in front of this house. In some areas, 7 feet tall or even higher.
There were spots where the grass was as tall as a person, which was a good spot to hide the crime scene. When Eliza's body was found, reporters started asking people in the area if they had seen anything strange. Some of the people the reporters talked to said that they had called City Hall several times before Eliza's body was found and asked for the grass to be cut. But no one did anything. Abston was charged with more crimes after Eliza's body was found. These included first-degree murder and first-degree murder in the kidnapping of a child. The judge took back the $500,000 bail that had been set when Abston was first charged. The judge also said that the suspect's formal last name should be Henderson, even though the prosecutor's reports say that his name is Cleotha Abston. This person will be called Cleotha Abston. Just so you know, some accounts say his name is Cleotha Henderson. When asked what sentence he would seek if Abston is found guilty, Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy sidestepped the question. If you are found guilty of first-degree murder, you could get the death penalty or life in jail with or without parole. It's too early to talk about what punishment we're going to ask for right now, Mulroy said outside of court. Eliza's family and everyone who knew her were shocked by her sad death. A funeral was held on September 10th, 2022, 5 days after the cops said the body had been found. Hundreds of people came. The wedding took place in the same church where Eliza got married 8 years before. No one wants a loved one to die, but it's especially scary to learn that they were killed after being kidnapped and killed. As people try to accept the painful truth, it takes a toll on their mental health. Now is the time to remember how wonderful she was, celebrate her life, and help the people who loved her so much. Thank you for all the messages of love and care you have sent our way. Eliza's family said, "We are so thankful to all local, state, and federal law enforcement for working so hard to find her and bring justice to the person who did this horrible act. This senseless loss has broken our hearts and left us devastated. Eliza was a joy to her family, friends, co-workers, students, parents, members of her Second Presbyterian Church congregation, and everyone else who knew her," the statement says. The teachers and staff at St. Mary's Episcopal School began the day by lighting candles in honor of Eliza in the church. Hundreds of people came together to finish the run that Eliza had started but left unfinished, the school wrote on Facebook on September 9th, 2022. At 4:20 a.m., they began running to honor Eliza, who was taken around the same time. Danielle Heineman said, "We're just here today to run in honor of Eliza and also to show that women in this city have a right to run at 4 o'clock in the morning or 10 at night or any time of the day." People who liked Eliza wore bright clothes to walk, jog, and run in her honor. They thought women should not have to cover their bodies at all times and should be able to go out whenever they pleased. An autopsy report says that the teacher and mother of two, who was 34 years old, died from a single gunshot wound to the head. There are 2 semicircular defects to the skull consistent with a single gunshot to the head, with the bullet traveling in a posterior to anterior, back to front, and right to left direction, the study said. Even though there was no bullet found on her body, a shell casing was found close to where her body was found. Eliza was also hit by something hard, which left her with bruises on her right thigh and broken bones in her mouth. The injuries were consistent with blunt force trauma, but there were no obvious signs of an attack. As the trial got ready to start, it came out that Cleotha Abston had beaten up another woman the year before he took Eliza. The attack on Eliza Fletcher could have been stopped if Abston had been caught, but the system failed because it didn't have enough money, and Abston stayed free. The event in question took place on September 21st, 2021. A woman named Alicia Franklin told the police that she and Abstin met on a dating app in 2021 and decided to meet up for dinner. They had talked about trading love for money ahead of time, but they didn't plan to get physical that night. Alicia Franklin says that when she got to Abstin's flat, he put a gun to her head and pushed her into his car, where he made her do what he wanted, even though she didn't want to. Alicia called the cops after Abstin let her go. Based on the police report, she didn't have any obvious injuries, but DNA from men was found on her. What do you think the time it took to look at these DNA samples was? The event took place on September 21st, 2021, and the test findings were not made public until September 5th, 2022, which is almost a year later. Abstin was already in jail for killing Eliza Fletcher at that point. As soon as the news came out, state leaders and victims' rights groups were furious and demanded that the state fix how it handles attack kits. Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee said he was sorry and that the government would quickly get more money to hire 25 more people to work at the forensic lab to speed up the checking of samples. I know there is still more to do, but I'm glad we can take this extra step towards getting rid of this backlog. House Speaker Randy McNally said, "We need to get these violent criminals off the streets and keep them off." Jim Strickland, the mayor of Memphis, has spoken out in support of the Memphis Police Department and what they do. When asked if MPD messed up the investigation, Strickland said, "I don't know the details. The investigation is still going on. The mayor shouldn't get too involved in the probe." Cleotha Abstin was finally charged in the case just a few days after being nabbed for the death of Eliza Fletcher. In her lawsuit against the city of Memphis, Alicia Franklin says that the Memphis Police Department failed to properly and thoroughly examine what happened to her. She said she had been hurt physically and emotionally and needed ongoing medical and psychological care. She is seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit also says that when the police arrived at the crime scene, they did not take any physical proof with them. Alicia Franklin also sued the Lakes at Ridgeway, saying that the apartment complex didn't have security, which let Abstin take her to an empty apartment and attack her. She's suing for $2 million in damages in that case. She made hints in that case that the attack on her wasn't the first crime to happen in that empty flat. The claim said that Abstin could have used the empty flat to commit a crime after using it to get the plaintiff to leave her car. In the court file, the woman also said that Henderson had talked to other women at the complex in a sexy and inappropriate way, but the property managers didn't do anything to ask Abstin to leave. She was found guilty in the Alicia Franklin case on April 12, 2024. On May 17, 2024, he gave up his right to a punishment hearing and agreed to a maximum of 80 years in prison for all charges. 40 years are given for kidnapping, and 20 years are given for gun charges. All of these years must be served in a row. Judge Lee Coffey said that he decided that Abstin's sentence would run consecutively for each count by looking at his long criminal past and the fact that he has been in jail for a number of things, such as indecent exposure and having drugs and weapons. The judge said that Abstin would not be able to appeal his sentence because the sentencing hearing was not held. However, Abstin can still appeal the trial and decision in the Franklin case. On Monday, October 28, 2024, it was made public that Cleotha Abstin was given a life term without the chance of parole in the case of Eliza Fletcher. What the district attorney's office said: today, the man accused of brutally kidnapping and killing Eliza Fletcher, a Memphis schoolteacher and mother of two, pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. Cleotha Abstin was given a life sentence without the chance of release. This officially ends a case that has caused a lot of trouble in the community. Mrs. Fletcher's family agreed with the decision that was made. The family has peace of mind thanks to today's deal. The defendant gives up his right to appeal, so there won't be years and years of appeals. This also helps the neighborhood because the dangerous person will never walk our streets again. He will die in jail. A lawyer for Abstin named Junie Ganguly told the New York Times that because there was so much proof against him, Abstin should take the plea deal. For the Times, Ganguly said it was likely that a jury would have given Abstin the death penalty. A letter from Fletcher's family to Abstin was read by District Attorney Steve Mulroy. It said, "We have no idea what happened to you to make you so filled with a desire to hurt people. No matter what it was, it doesn't make what you did okay or explain it. Everything about our lives will never be the same again because of you." I can't think of another word to describe what you did. Liza did nothing wrong to deserve being killed by you. She didn't hurt you, and if you needed help, she would have been the first one to offer it. Thank you for watching this heartbreaking story. If you found this case as moving as I did, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Stay safe, take care of one another, and I'll see you in the next video.